Mike here with Money, Marriage, and Media, and today we are talking with an echo because I didn't move the microphone like I was supposed to. That might help, right? That sounds a lot better. Okay, today we are looking for 1,000 subscribers. We're also looking at the Lapeef experience. The show is called The Solution, and the title is Trusting Yourself with the Outcome, Not Being Afraid of Change. Now, this should be interesting because we've got some new faces on the panel. A couple of these people I don't recognize. But married people on the panel, we always give a shout out to them. So far, we have Trigger Mike. That's all the person I know that's married. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I am Casey. I don't think I've ever seen her before. And F. Robinson, not familiar. Um, yeah, that's it. We're gonna and let's see if we can adjust this so we're not cutting off curves for life. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and see what we got here.
Because if you really think about it, life is unpredictable. That's what life is. Life is taking chances, taking risks. Some may be a little bit more calculated than others, but we don't know. We can't look into the future and tell and dictate what happens. We can try to have as much control as we can, but that can still backfire.
I don't know about that. I feel like more people than we realize are willing to make sacrifices. I think people are not willing to trust themselves on the outcome. I think it's the outcome that's scary to a lot of people. That where there is uncertainty, now I don't know if the risk is worth it. I don't know if the sacrifice is worth it because I don't know if it will pay off. I think if and it sounds a little nuts, but if people knew or trusted themselves enough to know that it would work out, I think more people would be willing to make that sacrifice. There's that lack of self confidence that, the motivation might not be something internal, it may be something external. I don't.
Now, this is an interesting concept. For those of you who are new here, we are looking for high level conversations. Why? Because the gender war is dumb, right? And the only way we're going to get past this stuff is if we can peel back the layers and figure out what's really going on. Because again, we need to start rebuilding our community, but we can't do that if we just going back and forth with each other, trying to, make each other look stupid on the internet. But to the topic here, I think this is a great conversation because of what Inez mentioned about if people knew the outcomes, then they would be more open to change. I don't disagree with that, but I think in order to peel back the layer on that is that uh, if the outcome was guaranteed, the change wouldn't be that significant. Think about it. When the outcome is guaranteed, it usually doesn't result in a significant change. The significant part is that there's some inherent risk involved. So if you remove that risk and guarantee the outcome, I'm not sure that you would have. Um, yeah, there might not be as much growth there.
I don't know that a lot of people aren't willing to make sacrifices because, like you said earlier, Trigger Mike, if it's out of necessity, they're still going to do it. They're still going to change. They're still going to sacrifice. And so, is that really then like an unwillingness? I don't think willingness really has anything to do with it. I think it's more so the belief in the outcome. Because when you believe like it can't get worse than this, you're willing to make that sacrifice. But if
Well,
you're not sure that it can get better, I
yeah.
think people are a lot more hesitant about making the sacrifice.
So if we're looking at the question, remember it says afraid. So people are afraid to make the sacrifice. I think that's what you're saying because they don't believe in the outcome. But I believe you have to have a good amount of courage to break through that. And I can't find a word to substitute it, but I'm gonna give you a quote about love that I think applies to this, and I'm gonna try to tie it into what we're saying. It says, love doesn't work for people that aren't willing to work, and it doesn't work for people that aren't willing to work without guarantee. So the top one ten
Yeah.
percent and 1% that I'm talking about is everybody has to take a chance at it without guarantee. You have to be bold enough and courageous enough to understand that the people who have these outcomes, they weren't sure of the outcomes either. They took a shot in the dark. They make it look easy because they do it every day. But in the beginning, they were doing it without the guarantee of success. and that eventual goal. So even though it seems like nobody gets that perfect outcome or perfect guarantee, but you still should take a shot anyway.
Yeah, see, that speaks to what I was talking about before about if the outcome is guaranteed. For the most part, people don't respect things that are easy. This is why trust fund kids don't, no one cares about them because you got everything handed to you. And it's like, okay, well, you don't have to work for anything. So, that brings up another argument is it's like, do you raise your son, do you raise your kids and just, do you build the empire for them to inherit? Or do you say that they need to get it out the mud? Two trains of thought, but I don't think we're here. I don't think the discussion is headed in that direction. So let's keep going.
So it's that fear of being afraid to jump in the first place that kind of has me like, no, I still.
I don't know.
Wait, y'all. Wait, I gotta give y'all the perfect example.
Hold on before you do.
There's
Hold
one.
on before you do. Hold on before
Okay.
you do. Let me get Curves in because I know she's been pretty quiet. Go ahead, Curves.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I think another word that we're missing is like security. Like people like to feel secure. So if you're considering making a change in the area, that insecurity in you is like, I feel secure in this job, I feel secure here, and now I'm gonna make a change and I don't know what the unknown scares a lot of people. You don't know something, you feel something weird in your throat, you feel headache, certain things happen, and then our mind automatically thinks like the worst case scenario. Well, not everybody, but at least for me it does. Some people like you just don't know. So I think the unknown scares a lot of people. So you not knowing like what the outlook, what it's gonna look like when you that change. I think that scares people because now you're like, my security is here. I know that this works. So if I go out and do something else, I don't know if that's gonna work. Now I'm scared. But that's all I wanted to add.
I do want to say something real quick. If you really think about it, like, what do we really know? I mean, think about, you don't know if you're going to wake up. You don't know if you go to work, you're going to perform at 100%. Like, you don't know nothing. So, like, what would stop you from taking a chance and taking a risk? Because if you really think about it, life is unpredictable. That's what life is. Life is taking chances, taking risks. Some may be a little bit more calculated than others, but we don't know. We can't look into the future and tell and dictate what happens. We can try to have as much control as we can, but that can still backfire. But go ahead,
Here's a point.
Casey, go ahead.
I think some things are guaranteed to change, and you will know the outcomes with some things. I think, for instance, two things that come to mind is fitness and our health. A doctor can give you a diagnosis and tell you everything that you need to change starting today. And 80% of the people, whatever that diagnosis, say this will be your outcome if you start doing this, 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 and this. And because of the mindset of not wanting to leave the comfort zone or actually wanting the result, but really having a hard time of breaking that realm of sacrifice and breaking routine, you could stay in that same situation, in that same health situation, because of lack of sacrifice and lack of wanting to leave that comfort zone. The same with fitness and losing weight. I know I've been in fitness all my life. I know what it's going to take after having two babies back to back to get back to where I want to be. It's up to me, two mindsets. I know it's going to take sacrifice. Unless I go lay on a table, it's going to take a year for me to rebuild all of my muscle memory, wake up. That's things I know for a certain, right? I may not get to exactly where I was, but I know in order to get some type of result and some type of direction to the outcome and goal that I want, I'm going to have to sacrifice, and I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone that I've been in for the last 2.5 years. So I think some things, yeah, there is an unknown. If you take a new job, you really don't know, like, really, should I leave? But a lot of things in life, when it comes to I need to change or I'm afraid of change, it's really with breaking that comfort zone and getting out and realizing it's going to take sacrifice.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Casey, okay, I'm not gonna be long, but Casey, you said something just so important when you say mindset, and the mind is a very terrible thing to waste. The things and the possibilities that you can do just by just thinking about it is already a way of showing that you want to change something. And it's all about even if it fails, say for instance you made this plan, it didn't go as like you want it to go, but at the end of the day you have this mind. It's so many other ways to get to where you need to go. It's not just a straight.
Okay, and insert random cliche number 45 here because she's not saying anything. Knowledge is power. We get it. Where's the high level conversation? Because that's not it. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and give a conclusion on this one because they seem to be all over the place. Jr. is talking about one thing that's kind of related. Well, I have to say it is related to the topic because he came up with it. But then we just throw in, like, you go from change is change is inevitable. Everything changes at some point, right? I think the part that we need to focus on is that whether the outcome is guaranteed or not. Guaranteed outcomes do not promote that much. The change is not going to be that much. Because, they mentioned getting out of your comfort zone. Well, that usually only happens when the outcomes are not guaranteed, at least from every person's from the person who's looking to change from their perspective. It's not guaranteed. Because when you throw in fitness, the outcomes are guaranteed if you work the program. But again, as the person who is working out, you don't see it like that because otherwise you would have did it already. You not doing it there is some doubt in your mind. There's somebody mentioned it before about insecurities. Yeah, that plays a part in the decision. But again, I'm going to stick to the point of that, guaranteed outcomes don't produce that much change. Just because it's guaranteed, so it's easy decision to make. And okay, well if we do this, then okay, let's go ahead and do that then. No, if you want to change your life dramatically, then that's going to require some outcomes that are not guaranteed. It's going to require some risk, whether or not it's worth it or not. You have to make that decision for yourself. Now how does this relate to relationships? Well, for men, there is a lot of risk involved with getting married. Look, I'm not going to go through all the risks that's involved because you guys, if you've been watching relationship content on YouTube, you came across 100 channels that talk about that. Marriage has nothing of value in it for men. All the lies that people want to keep telling you. Yeah, okay. There's only the benefit of your kids becoming productive members of society to secure your legacy, which 95% of men are definitely interested in. Yeah, okay. But what does that mean for men? Well, you're going to have to risk getting married. You're going to have to risk meeting and vetting the right people in your life. You're going to have to risk your network. That's just the way it goes. For women, you have to risk finding out if that's the right guy for you. So with money, the risk part is easy because, investments, nothing is guaranteed, right? The media portion can get a little clouded because the risk there, it's a high stakes game, just like with marriage. If you put forth the wrong image, we talked about this you look at somebody like Brittany Renner, right? She risked making herself the villain and being this, whatever you want to call her, right? This false persona that she puts out for everybody. The risk is that, well, if everybody really sees me, but that's not the real me. Well, now you have to fight that because you're trying to put more of yourself out there and people are looking at you and saying, well, nah, we ain't going for them crocodile tears no more. You the girl that you always said you were, even though she said that's not real, that's not the real her. So now you risked it and now you got to deal with the consequences. Marriage and relationships are a lot like that. This is why you need to be true to who you are. If the opportunity for change comes up and you're open to it, then you're going to have to risk something. Whether or not, now for marriage, I would say that as a whole, this is why we need to repair multiple parts of our community so that we can start seeing more marriage-minded couples. But, You need that to rebuild the community. But guys, I'm going to end it here because I'm starting to ramble. So I'm going to say ghost to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. But do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.